Hey guys, it's Captain Harris here with a little bit of a different one today. Just thought we would vlog our last trip to Samash because it's sadly closing, and we wanted to be able to see it one more time because this was like a huge part of me being a teenager and
Yeah.
becoming a musician and stuff. I don't play as much anymore. This guy still does, but I picked up the bass when I was a teenager, and it was like spent a lot of time on that. And I even bought, might have been from this store, my Fender P bass that I saved for months and months to be able to buy.
Yeah,
So,
I spent a lot of time in big box music retail stores like this and Guitar Center growing up. And it's super sad to see Samash going out of business. Obviously, they've been in business for 100 years this
yeah,
year.
it
That's
was a
amazing.
good run, but it's still
So,
very sad. Like, James and I just watched our local music store close at the end of last year as well, and that is just like my third places from when I was a teenager are all just like going away, and it's just
I could see by the end of the decade, once Guitar Center's gone,
yeah,
that's going to be the end of
yeah,
big retail music stores where people kind of fall in love with instruments, I feel like. And anybody that's been a musician over the last, 100 years, I'm sure you've heard of Samash and have spent some time in here. So we wanted to get here. This is really just a little less than a week after the announcement of the closing. The closing isn't going to happen for a couple months, so there's obviously going to be sales going forward, but we want to see it soon because we want it to look as close to how it's always looked.
yeah. We made the mistake with our local store of like, oh, we'll just we'll go in the last week, and we forgot until like the last day, and we're like, oh my god, we need to go see it. It was decimated. There was nothing left.
Nothing.
Even like everything, like all the shelves were gone. Everything was taken off the walls. They were basically just saying bye to everybody. I was just like, now it's just gonna be a deli, as if we need another deli in our town. But
So we'll go and do one of our last experiences at any of these stores, but definitely our last at Samash. This is the one in Orlando.
on
East
Colonial. There's a
Colonial.
couple out here, I think. So
Yeah, there's another one close by, but yeah, this will be the last time, so we will take you guys along for the ride.
yeah.
Right when you walk in the front door, everything on sale. This is just a few days after the announcement, and they've already sold so much of the store's fixtures, just all the stuff they use to display everything. You can see what's sold and what's still for sale, just chairs and rollaway things and seats. So come get your chairs. Here we go. This is the last walkthrough. It's very quiet. There's usually music playing. It looks like so much is already gone. Acoustic guitars, no more. You got your cases for any Wayne's World guitars. In the middle here, there used to be a stage with a bunch of equipment on it. Walk right through it now. And I thought there would be quite a few guitars in here, but there really isn't. Quite the collection they have now. That's an Epiphone. I thought they'd have a bit more than this.
Yeah, I did too. This is sad.
This is already mostly gone. It's okay though, 20% off these four. Here's the few bases they have, 25% off right now.
So this is the one where I got my bass from. This wall is where I saw it. It's my blue Fender P bass, and obviously I'm like, that looks like Steve Harris's bass. That's, I wanted to pick it up and play it. And I did, and I fell in love, but it was $600, and I was 15 years old, so I had to save for months to be able to get it. And I bought a red Ibanez for about $100 to practice on before I got it.
So I really expected there to be quite a few people here with a lot of things going on with all the sales and people coming and playing guitars for the last time, because there isn't that many options for guitar players now to go and try things out. And I kind of expected to be able to sit down here and play a guitar again, but it's so eerily silent in here that I feel like I shouldn't even touch anything. We might just ask if they're going to sell these little Fender squares on the wall, just for keepsake. Oh, not too many best-selling books today. This was...
They had like common drums and stuff.
I remember being in this room with all the drums, and I remember running around hitting all the congas when I was a teenager, being a real menace. So here's the stage. I didn't see it when I first walked in, but this obviously always had a full drum kit on it with a drum riser, all the PA stuff, and guitar set up so that, you know, you could kind of see what their equipment would look like on a stage. And there's the lighting rig's still up there with very few things attached, but this is all that's left. For all you drummers out there, you know how cool the drum rooms used to be in these kinds of stores. This one had a podium. I can't go in there, but there's separate rooms for all the cymbals, and there was a podium that was just full of drum kits, and it just looked incredible. So this was the recording room where you get all your mics and stuff that were back there. That's where all the DJ stuff was. All the decks. And this was the brass section that had everything up on the walls. And all the sheet music areas all empty. A lot of 40% off clarinets and stuff. It's the last look at the ukulele wall. And last look at the store in general.
Yeah. Scared the lollipop guild.
Everything must go, and almost everything has gone.
That is not what I was expecting at all. That was really sad. And we talked to the guy at the front desk, and he said that they did like 2 months ago they started their sale. So this has been going on a lot longer than what was said online. But apparently the other one in Orlando just started, so we're gonna see about going to check that one out, so it can be a little less sad on our last.
We were told they have a lot more stock, and they just started their sales over on Lee Road. So let's go check that one out too. Let's do it.
So James filmed me filling out a form, and that was because I wanted to buy the red fender signs on the wall. They said that I guess it's whoever was buying the building or something like that was selling off the rest of the fixtures, so I was just filling a form out to see if I could get those. So we'll see. They're too much money and not getting them.
So we've made it to the other Sam Ash on Lee Road that has apparently just started its closing sales. The other one on 50 was a total ghost town. There wasn't a single other business in that plaza, but here it's a lot busier with a full parking lot. So let's see what happens. And there it is, Sam Ash store closing. There's music, there's life in here. No backpacks allowed. There's definitely a lot missing, but there's stuff. And this one, the bass section, is right next to the front door on the right. There's quite a few things here. Oh, huge sale. We got 5% off over here. We still have amps that are ready to be played. A lot of them are gone, but there's still some life. What do we have over here? Oh, maybe they can haggle between stores. We can say, oh, well, we got some others at the other Sam Ash. Yeah, well, the first things to go are the cheap guitars, but don't worry, huge sales, 5% off. Here's a few of the guitars they have. It doesn't look like any high-end stuff. This is all kind of Epiphone. There's a Fender up there, a little telly, a lefty telly. But it's nice to see at least a few choices. Jackson. Oh, this was actually Ibanez Geo. This is my first guitar back when I was 12 years old. And my dad purchased that for me at George's Music, which is over by Universal in Orlando. That's still around, as the DeLorean parked out front. If you guys remember that, definitely comment below. The used guitar rack was always something of great interest to me, where I'd find absolutely hideous pieces like this Peavey. $140. I might take it for $14. Welcome to a fully functioning acoustic room. You can always hear the echo of the acoustics. Now, what would you call this? There's no guitar there.
A Yamaha SLG 200N nylon string silent guitar.
It's silent. It makes no noise.
Play the best song in the world. Reach your sword.
A few of the higher end things here. Oh, I used to have that Canyon, and then it broke.
1,800 for the big boss billboard.
That's actually not a bad deal
We're not spending
for all
that
these.
much money right
I didn't say I was going to, but somebody will find this to be a good deal. Well, here's a question for all you guitar players watching. What was the first guitar you bought at a big box retail store? And what was the first amp you purchased? It's always a good question. Again, mine was an Ibanez Geo and a classic Line 6 Spider 3. I take that back, actually. Before I got the Spider, I got one of those little bean pods like this, but it was like a little red bean that you plug into. And there'd be presets on there for like Master of Puppet tones and everything. Well, it's cool it says that no prices are firm. They're definitely across the board offering only 5% off these ridiculous prices.
now. Oh, some stuff is 10%, but not a lot.
Also, for you guitar players, what are the picks you like to use? I always started with these, actually, these Dunlop nylon ones. And then I had some random guitar player throw me one of these 0.73 millimeter yellow Dunlops. And then I'd play with those for probably 15 years, and then I just recently switched over to a totally different style pick. I'm gonna get this rug.
I just want all the things. Like, I don't want the instruments right now. I want all, like, the wall hangs and the rugs.
It's a nice little display. I don't know about you guys. I am a fan of orange. Some of these prices seem a little ridiculous for such a small piece. Oh, a little louder than I thought. This is a much more lively brass section. All the pieces. I'm not too familiar with this. Oh, look. A little banjo. I used to have something like this when I first started playing in my room with all the chords. Of course, never learned any of them. Oh my god. It's an accordion.
I think we should get a musical washboard.
Definitely need one of those. What does this do?
It's mixing boards, right?
Yeah, it mixes stuff. So this is kind of the PA section. All aspiring singers, just a little tip from a guitar player that's played in multiple bands. If you come with a PA, you're much more valuable. This one still has a stage in the back with a few things on it.
Should we get this for the new Captain Harris studio?
Could you imagine?
We can film right in the middle.
I mean, if we get this in our house, it might just fit, and we just set up right here.
Our ceiling is not this tall. Absolutely not.
But imagine.
Yeah.
This looks like it was one of the lesson rooms. I never actually took any lessons, especially at, big box stores.
It's so good.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I didn't have the experience of taking lessons in places like this. So if you guys ever did, what was that like? There's a little look-see into another one. At least a few keyboards left on the walls.
There's plenty of keyboards left, to be honest. That was a much better experience than the last place.
There was music playing, there was lights on, there was people working.
Friendly vibes, not just the end is nigh.
It did feel like, you could go up and play stuff. There was like, a guy playing like the keyboards and stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean the amps, they said plug and play, so, it was available still if you wanted to, but it was very like, I don't know, it just felt hostile at the last place. And this was good. I'm glad we came. It was like an extra 20-minute drive with traffic, but
not incredible sales, I will admit. It was kind of confusing. I went to read the sign they had at the front again, and it said, we first read it and it said, no price is firm, but it meant no price is firm.
Yeah.
So apparently you can't haggle on the price, and I love a good haggle. So the deals aren't too great. The amps are still ridiculously expensive, and they only are generally giving like 5 to 10% off stuff right now, but I'm sure as the next couple months go by, the prices will get a little better.
And there's no, telling when they close, because it just says when everything sells will close.
Right. So
I don't know.
But anyway, that will be our last trip out to any Sam Ash.
It's a bit far for us for where we live. I used to come a lot more when I was like a teenager, and my brother would drive us out because he was in band class, and I would go look at the bass I wanted every couple of months.
Yeah. So let us know what some of your stories are of, you know, checking out these stores. You know, because for me, I started at George's Music in Orlando is where I got my first guitar and kind of started fiddling around for the first time. But I feel like you have to go to these stores to kind of get the bug and be like, oh, this, you know, all the choice is so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, even your last guitar you bought was the white Fender.
Yeah.
We went to like, it was Guitar Center still, but you went to like 4 different stores to find the perfect guitar, and it's like you don't, you know, you worry that experience is going to be gone of like being able to just try and keep picking off the wall, putting back. And
what's kind of sad is what's replaced these stores is online guitar sales with a very generous return policy. But what I liked about guitar shopping in the past was you could go and check out so many guitars, because to me it's like, you know, you don't pick the guitar picks you. Mm-hmm. It's every piece is a different piece of wood, and it just reacts differently in your fingers, even if it's the exact same guitar copy. But you know, like when I bought that guitar, I probably checked out, you know, 15 different guitars before I picked the one I did.
Every Guitar Center in Orlando just so you could find the right one.
Finally found it, and I love it. But I am sad that way of finding your instruments may be dead in the next decade.
Yeah, and like I said, it's kind of like a third place for us, which is like, you know, coffee shops and bookstores and stuff like that. For me as a teenager, it was our local store and like these when I had the chance to come out, because you don't feel like obligated, like I have to come in and purchase something like you do, you know.
It's the perfect browsing location.
Yeah, you get to browse, you get to try instruments out and then kind of see what you might like and save up for it. And I mean, my bass was very similar to you, is, you know, I played guitar and I saw the Steve Harris looking precision bass, and that was the reason I picked it up, and I was like, whoa, this feels like great, and that's why I wanted that one specifically. And I was always worried it was going to sell, but it stayed for like a year and I got to play it.
And I am sorry for any of you guys that will grow up without having the Ben Stiller character from Tenacious D not in your life, because we've always known those kinds of people. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. You know, it's time to say goodbye to big box retail music stores.
Yeah, so very sad, but I was glad at least the last one wasn't the last experience I had in a Sam Ash, because that is the one that I used to go shopping at. I didn't ever come to this one, but it was like, you know, they're pretty similar, so.
Exactly.
It's good.
All right, well, that's about it.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.